Back live in Santa Monica. I haven't been to Venice Beach in a year, so I came up and I thought, you know what, let me beat the traffic, had a nice lunch and just chill, and then came over here. So
yeah,
awesome.
It's beautiful here.
Loving it, and the weather today was phenomenal.
Insanely good.
Phenomenal. This is paradise. How long have you been here?
I've been here for almost 9 years.
Okay, so you're a girl from Oregon? All right.
I am. I'm from Oregon, born and raised in Oregon, actually. A small town called Albany.
Okay.
Our population was around 30,000. It was really small.
And you've been out here 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in Oregon, how was it?
Well, honestly, it's a lot better than most people think if you have never been to Oregon before, because I grew up camping and hiking.
Okay, so you were an outdoors girl?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, our idea of partying in high school was going to the lake and getting drunk, and camping in the middle of the mountains,
and all
bonfires.
That, right? Yeah.
That was our idea of partying and having a good time. We would go tubing on the river, which means you just get in an inner tube and just like slide down the river for however long you want.
Yeah.
And then the lake, you would get in a boat and then get in an inner tube, and the boat would just like take your inner tube, and you could jet ski.
Nothing wrong with that.
The trails I went on were insane. They would be like a foot that you could walk on, and then after that it's like a cliff, and you could fall and die. I don't know how my parents let me do crap like that as a child. But all we would see on these kinds of trails were mountain goats, you know. So
really?
We were doing death-defying stuff all the time. I would whitewater raft on the Snake River, which is on the border of Idaho and Oregon.
So were you a tomboy?
I played sports for 12 years, yeah.
Oh,
basketball, softball, and I played some volleyball. I switched to volleyball to dance team. I was not a cheerleader. My sister was. I'm the dance team. And we learned how to twerk on dance team.
She wanted to make sure she was clear with that. I wasn't the cheerleader. My sister was the cheerleader.
It's completely different. We're not rah, rah, rah. You know, we were actually twerking in high school.
Okay.
I did actually danced to Baby Got Back in high school. How did they let us do that?
Wow.
We actually stuffed our butts and we had an amazing time.
And
it was hilarious.
Actually cool then.
Yeah, it was like when it came out.
Right.
I mean, I'm aging myself. I'm really sorry.
You played sports?
I did.
Okay.
I was a center in basketball, and I was a starter. I was a finisher. They would only take me out to get a drink of water and pee. That's it.
Wow.
They would keep me in as long as they could. They abused me.
Now,
for
did you
12
have
years.
colleges looking at you?
Yeah, actually, for softball I did, not for basketball. For basketball, I was too clumsy. I would trip over everybody. I would fall on people's faces. They called me Bigfoot. I think it's because I couldn't grow into my feet. I have size like 11 in Nikes, and so I think that I was just constantly tripping on my feet. But besides that, I was an amazing player. So, and softball, actually, I did have agents looking at me.
Yeah.
But I had back pain from fast pitching.
Oh, you were a pitcher?
Yeah, I was a pitcher.
Wow.
And I was amazing. I mean, not to like brag here, but I killed it, you know.
So
I was scary. I don't know, they never clocked it, but I would make people jump away from it, and then my changeup was insane. It would go from like to and they would be like, like they didn't know to hit it.
Was that natural to you? Did that come natural? Or
no, it's actually a lot of work.
You put a lot of time into it?
Yeah, because you have to like cock your wrists just right at the top, and then you have to flick your wrists just right at the bottom, and you have to snap your hips, and then for a curve, you have to like do this across your body, and for a changeup, you can't snap your wrist, you have to just let it go. It's crazy. And for a knuckleball, you have to like hold a big softball with your knuckles. Try that. I was actually so good that agents did come, and I had a coach that was a rebound therapist, which is like for people, for athletes get hurt.
Really?
Yeah, it's where athletes get hurt and they get therapy.
Okay.
So he was my coach, and he would heat my back and he would cool my back in between me pitching when we were batting.
Okay.
And the agents would see this, and they would walk up to him and they would say, "Oh, what happened to her back? Oh, it just hurts her, so we just, we just cool it, we warm it, whatever's going on today, we just make sure she's okay."
They didn't want to let on.
Yeah. And then my coach would say, "Are you her friend or family?" "Oh no, I'm with OSU or U of O."
Wow.
They both came. But because of the back, they did not grant me anything.
What? Do you still have back problems?
I actually do still have back problems. And I don't know if pitching started it or if it's just how my back is. And then I trained like crazy over the years because I was a personal trainer and I was OCD.
Right.
I would work out like 6 hours a day, and I would do stuff that my sway back didn't like squatting with weights.
Yeah, that just compounds.
It's not good for my back. My back.
Good. It's actually not good for anybody's.
Why do trainers love it so much?
And I used to power lift, right? And it's interesting. I had a really bad motorcycle accident.
Oh.
So I was in intensive care for about 4 days, right? Broke everything on the side, punctured the lung, the whole bit. But when they put me in the tube to see if there was internal bleeding, there wasn't. But when they brought me out, the doctor said, it's interesting, right? All the years of powerlifting and heavy compound movements, my neck and my traps saved me from, I hit a boulder up in Vermont, right? So it saved me the impact. But when they put me in the tube to look, my vertebrae, some of them are open from being compacted. So all the heavy weight, so I have a weak spine, but a strong neck and traps, thank God. And it was just luck the way I hit. Because if I would have hit a different way and the spine took the impact, probably wouldn't either be here, not be here, or be paralyzed. So you were a personal trainer, huh?
Yeah, actually, I was a personal trainer.
Oh, me too.
That's what started
ISSA.
I was NASM certified.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's so.
That a girl. Knock one up. So you were an athlete. I was too. I started wrestling in 4th grade. I was so hyper. I'm crazy. That was my savior. How were you in school though? How were your grades?
I was actually a straight A student, except math. I would get like a B plus. Until high school, and then in high school I had a stepdad that was telling me I was too smart for my own good, and then boys were calling me nerd.
Too smart for your own good.
Yeah.
What does he mean?
He was just trying to get to me.
Okay.
He was just
so
like
he was
trying to like
tear
kind
you
of
down?
Yeah, he was trying to tear me down.
Okay.
He
And
was
you were
a jerk
a teenager.
to me. Yeah, I was I was a teenager.
So this is where the golden nuggets come in, right? Because people, I always tell people, you got to wear those scars with pride.
Absolutely.
You were bad enough to make it through, so now it's your obligation to share it, right?
Right.
And I can tell by your personality you're ready to roll, so I love it. Most people aren't. I love that though, because that maps to what I talk about the most is your self-image. You could build it up, you could tear it down, but you cannot outperform it.
I
right?
agree.
When you're a teenager, and especially a girl, hormones, everything. So when you have that in your life, looking back, how did that help you now? And how do you feel like that held you back at all?
Oh, those are really good questions.
No, and that's devastating, right?
Oh, absolutely.
As a little girl, as a young lady, right? That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
It was rough.
And much more rough than people think because it's stitching your subconscious.
Yes, absolutely.
So talk about that.
Well, I mean, there's worse things that happened to me, like date rape and a man choking me at one point that I was dating as well. So I had way worse things that traumatized me.
Okay.
But with him, it actually made me question authority more, which can be bad in certain situations and it can be good because it helped me become an entrepreneur that I am today. But he made me question if people liked smart women. So it held me back quite a bit. I actually stopped doing my homework, and girls my age too were kind of making fun of me for, they were calling me nerdy and you're always doing your homework.
Yeah.
So it definitely held me back, and I started getting a lower GPA right away because I decided to just stop doing my homework.
Right.
And then my dad got really upset because I always got straight A's and a B plus in math, so he started to ground me, and I couldn't go out anymore with my friends, and I just got a boyfriend, and he dumped me because I couldn't do anything anymore. So it actually kind of forced me to look back at like what was really going on, and I actually had to work double hard to pull my GPA up than to just kind of glide by with the straight A's and the B's.
See, that must have been even extra tough for you, right? Because you mentioned something earlier, OCD, right? So when because ADD, right? So when you have OCD, if things aren't in order, right, it makes you crazy.
Right.
Right?
Well, I don't naturally have OCD. I actually got OCD from overtraining and drinking too much caffeine and taking too many supplements that were making me OCD.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know it at the time.
Okay.
But in high school, I was more natural me than I am now, and I had to cut all that stuff out to stop being so OCD, and it took me a while to understand what was making me OCD. But before I was OCD, I just kind of like, I just had to work harder. And what that actually did for me was it helped me to kind of look at my life in a bigger picture at a younger age than most people do, because I was grounded and I couldn't do anything fun. So what I actually started to do when I was working hard is I started to plan to graduate high school early, because boys were being really mean to me. They're actually harassing me every day. Yeah.
In what way?
Well, like I told you about the date rape thing, and then there were some boys that had crushes on me, and they were my friends, and I didn't go out with them.
Oh, all right. So they took it personal.
They took it personal, and they started calling me filthy. They would call me filthy every day, like, because I was date raped, and then he kind of told the whole school I'm this school slut.
Right.
And so I'm a school slut in high school, and then all these guys started lying and say they slept with me too.
So it just snowballed.
It just snowballed and got terrible. So, like, I was harassed every day at school.
But here's what's interesting. You could have went one way or the other. You could have said, I'm just leaving high school, because I dropped out. Right?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I just walked out. I did. I was left back in the second grade, so I told him I already did my 12 and a half years. I'm good. so
That's gangsta.
I rolled. I was always in trouble and all that. But you could have went, right, this way and said, you know what, I'm just leaving. Ooh, but you decided, I'm going to do this even quicker and get out.
Yeah.
Were you able to do that?
Yeah, I actually graduated high school early, and then I started college early.
But that's gangster. See, that's badass, because life always gives us choices, right?
Yeah.
And for me, looking back, I thank God every day that EQ trumps IQ in the real world, or else I'd be in major trouble. But growing up, right, left back in the second grade, diagnosed with ADD, said I had a learning disorder, never graduated high school. At 19, I'm sitting in a jail cell looking at 8 to 10 if things don't go my way.
Wow.
I was always told you're not supposed to win. Don't expect a lot out of yourself, because you can't learn in this cookie cutter mode. Understanding now, looking back, I've been an entrepreneur my whole adult life, and have built businesses and sold them. I just had the entrepreneurial DNA. I was born out of my mind. Sport. That's what it was. That's why sports were my outlet.
Right.
I could be outside playing. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I couldn't be happier. But what's really cool, you went down this other road. Not everyone would, and we have those choices.
That's
true. That's badass.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
No, that's real.
Yeah,
that's real.
I mean, I didn't really think there was another option. I guess, like, it wasn't in me naturally to think I had the option to just quit high school.
It's okay, but looking back, you know that you did. Now, that's the message I want to get across, right? You're living proof, live and in color, that we have choices. And you decide to go down this other road. Whether or not you knew you had that choice or not didn't matter.
Yeah.
You still went down that road.
Absolutely.
You didn't have to. But I love about your message, right? Parents are watching. Their kids are struggling in school. They're getting bullied. They're this. Okay, then let's step back and say, how do we now get our degree even quicker and roll up out of here, right? Let's roll up out of here. Right. I love that. So you're in college.
Yeah, I actually started college early, like I said. So when all my friends were still in high school, I was in college. And
Were you playing sports?
Not yet. Okay. Actually, my first year, I gained some weight because I stopped playing sports and I didn't really know to work out yet. Yeah. So that was another pivotal moment. But when I first started college, I almost felt like I was like an imposter, because I was so much younger than everybody, and I felt like I should still be in high school, and it just felt so surreal.
And did you feel out of place?
I felt a little out of place, but it was actually really exciting, because you get to choose your classes in college.
It's a different world.
It's a completely different world. So all of a sudden I started feeling more in charge of my life, because I was choosing classes, I was choosing the time it started. I'm not a morning person, so I chose classes that were 10 or later. And I felt more alive, and I felt my health was better because I was waking up too early as in high school, because I had dance team. Well, I had dance team practice at 6 in the morning. Oh, wow. So I'd have to wake up at like 5, and we had it 4 or 5 days a week. So it taught me a lot of dedication, it taught me like hard work. But we won. First in state, that's huge. So it teaches you, if you work hard, you'll win, right?
Right.
So then in college, I just felt like I was a little more in charge. Like, I realized that morning isn't my time. I realized it makes me tired throughout the day. I'm more productive at night, and I feel better at night. So why not change my college time to a little later. So I just started feeling like, oh, I can kind of create this. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do either, so I started taking business classes. I started learning about being an entrepreneur. And so I was like, wow, this is really cool. You don't have to listen to adults telling you what to do. Even though I knew all this in college, I still actually went down the road of entrepreneurship because I started out in the corporate world and then realized it wasn't for me and then got onto entrepreneurship.
What were you doing in the corporate world?
In high school, actually, I took a test to see what I would be the best at because I was clueless what I was going to do when I grew up. Actually, in kindergarten, I wanted to be a farmer's wife, and people thought that wasn't a good answer. And in kindergarten, I mean...
All right, that's...
I want to be around animals. I want to be a farmer's wife. I don't know. Those are what I thought I wanted to do.
Okay.
When I took a test, and I knew I wanted to make decent money, and I knew I wanted flexibility, whatever. An executive recruiter came up at the top of my test. So I actually started building my college career on like what an executive recruiter would be good at. An executive recruiter has to be good at communication, has to be good at human psychology, maybe a little bit of entrepreneurialism because you kind of have your own business in a business, or you can have your own business as an executive recruiter. So I just started working my way up, and I went to this executive recruiting firm when I was a senior in college. And I said, I have 2 other jobs that I get paid for. I'm a store manager as an optician, and I'm also in retail because I want to get discounts on clothes.
Hey girl, your why is big enough.
So at one point I had 3 jobs in college, but I had 2 at that point, and I said I would love to intern. And they never heard of that before. They're like, what? You want to work for free? You want to be an executive recruiter? Like, we never heard of that. Okay. Usually people just kind of fall into that because, oh, it's great money. Sure. People make $100,000 a year, and you sit behind a desk and talk on a phone all day. Like, that's not too big of a deal. So I actually started interning when I was a college student. And then when I graduated, they hired me on full time, and I started like knocking down all these company records and goals, and I was just killing the game, killing it. I got flown to Puerto Rico for pace setters. I just won all sorts of awards, and I was this child. So they decided they should start hiring more people fresh out of college because I broke the mold of like what an executive recruiter could be. I specialize in specialty inpatient pharmacy, which is inside a hospital.
Did you enjoy it?
No, so this is when I realized I should be an entrepreneur. So I started modeling and acting and personal training while I was doing this because I started working out really like hardcore at that point because I really liked it, and I needed an outlet because I started to take supplements and drinking coffee that started making me OCD. So I needed an outlet, and I realized sitting behind a desk I was feeling like I was in jail. So I was pretty miserable, to be quite honest with you. Monday through Friday job, boss telling me what to do. I found out he was paying me half as much as everyone else, and I approached him about it. And he threw papers all over the office. He said, "This is not a hostile work environment." I was like, wow. Okay, thank you for proving my point. So then I actually got recruited to be a pharmaceutical sales rep, specialty ophthalmology. And I started getting more freedom. You know, I had a company car, and I could kind of work in my own time.
You were on the road?
Yeah, I was on the road. And I was like, oh, I really like freedom. So when they laid all of us off, all the over-the-counter reps, I thought, you know what, maybe I should really focus on personal training. And Oregon has an amazing plan called self-employment. So when I lost my job, I could opt for self-employment instead of unemployment, which I got paid by the state to write a business plan and get a business in action.
Really?
I had to prove them. I had to have a meeting with the state once a week to show them my plan, my progress. I got a studio, and I actually had to do it.
They'd cut you a monthly
and they would
check?
pay me. No, they'd pay me weekly, like unemployment checks.
Oh.
Except it's self-employment, and they want you to make money. So if you're making money, they don't take it away from you. Like unemployment, if you're making money, they take the unemployment away from you. Self-employment, they want you to.
Keep the incentive going.
Yeah, they keep the incentive going.
So your business model was a personal training studio?
I started a personal training studio after I lost my job.
Awesome.
And I got the cushion from the state to make it happen.
Man, that's all. I didn't know
amazing?
that. Yeah, is that the only state that does that?
I don't know, but I look into it because I always think in my mind there's always more than one option. Yeah. And you have to ask and do your research.
Man, that's genius.
Yeah, when I was telling one of my model jobs that I'm on self-employment, they got mad at me. They're like, it's called unemployment. I'm like, no, it's self-employment. And I don't know why, but it caused them to be so angry. And I think it's because some people just don't take the time to do research and find out what all your options are. Because I was on unemployment at one point in my life. I was fired from a job. I'll admit it. I was fired. I don't care. I have a really hard time with authority, okay? So I was fired from one of my jobs.
You have the entrepreneurial DNA.
Exactly.
Me too.
Yeah. So when I got fired, I got unemployment, and this time when I got laid off, I just thought there's got to be other options. Since I wasn't fired, there has to be another way. And then when I went to the state to meet with them, I actually asked to speak to a manager to find out if there was other options, and there was. I don't know. Like, I guess the nugget for anyone here would be maybe ask. You know, seek and you shall find.
No, that is a great nugget, right?
Yeah.
If I'm a big believer in this, it's you don't fail because you don't have the resources. You fail because you're not resourceful enough.
Right.
And an entrepreneur, we're not entrepreneurs, right? What we really are is fire people. We put out fires every single day. Entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs, full-time entrepreneurs, that's, if they don't bring it in, they don't eat. That's what I'm talking about, full-time entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Okay, have such an advantage over most of the masses only because of our conditioning. So when we wake up, we're not sure what's coming at us, both personally, right, like an employee, but also professionally. We have all the skin in the game, right? So everything falls back on us.
Right.
But because you become conditioned, right, little things that might flip other people out is just part of our day.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
No, but it is. The struggle is real.
Yeah, the struggle is real. It wasn't all easy peasy for me just because I got some money from the state. Trust me.
No,
because they make you do stuff. They make you like if you're not starting to bring in money, then they're like, well, are you actually doing it? Are you actually showing up? You actually had to make money. You actually had to show you had clients. You actually had to show that you're really doing
building
work.
a business.
Yes,
right. Because they're paying you.
Yeah.
Yes, I get it.
They wouldn't give you the money if you weren't actually doing it.
There's an investment.
Exactly.
Right. No, I think that's genius, though.
I think so too.
I think that's awesome. I think every state should do it. I just never heard of it. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Way to go,
look into it, everybody. Look into your state and what they offer if you get laid off or if you get fired or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
No, absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely. Figure out your resources.
Yeah.
Right?
So I actually started personal training.
Okay.
And I had a studio, and then I actually grew into life coaching as well because I realized that all my clients that needed personal training help also needed some life coaching help.
Okay.
Because there's some sort of reason, maybe they're feeling bad about themselves, so they just ate.
Yeah.
They didn't want to work out because they were sad about a breakup. You know, who knows? But I found that most people just needed the extra help mentally. So I actually got certified as a life coach and a personal trainer too.
You know, when we're talking about personal trainer, and you're talking about, and I used to own a sports nutrition store as well. And people would come in, they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to do this, I want to do, and I would say to them, I can give you the best meal plan for your goal, the best workout for your goal, and the best supplements for your goal, right? But unless you create a lifestyle change and get rid of that 4-letter word diet, right?
That's
it's
the key.
only temporary. So that to me is where the mindset, right, the self-image underneath that umbrella of life coach, personal development, whatever title you want to put on it, everything starts and that's the epicenter.
Okay, I actually had a lot of issues due to what was happening to me in my teenage years.
When you were younger, your conditioning.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was actually coming up at that point in my life, especially because I started acting. What I love about acting, everybody, is that whatever issues you have in your real life, people see that on camera times 10. And they see it on stage. Oh, yeah. If you have any insecurity, people are going to see it like a microscope in front of the TV. Whatever the case is, it comes out. I had to go through deep, intense therapy and acting class, and that got me onto certain books that elevated my mind and woke me up, basically. And help me become more of who I am instead of having to protect myself from everything that happened to me when I was younger. I had to kind of put on a facade and a mask and a happy face.
You weren't living your truth.
Exactly.
You weren't living your truth.
So living my truth took some pulling off the mask, which is the ego, and learning to be real and raw and authentic and genuine. And it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. And courage.
And courage.
Absolutely, because you become vulnerable, and all of a sudden the real you is showing up in life. And what if people don't like the real you?
Right.
That's terrifying. You know, if you have a mask on and people don't like you, at least they just don't like your mask, and no big deal. You can just move on.
But you're still hiding.
Right.
You're still hiding.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. When you walk the life as real you with that mask taken off, then
so that
you're
therapy,
at risk.
That therapy actually helped you get through that.
Absolutely. Well, acting is my therapy. So I had a coach that was just super intense. She would say things that would make most people cry. And I cried at first. I did. I cried at first. I was like, wow, I had no idea I was like that. I had no idea I was a bitch. Because all that shit made me a bitch.
Because that was your defense mechanism.
It made me turn into a cold bitch.
Yeah, that was your shield. Now it confirms what you're already saying to yourself walking in that room. Yep. They don't like me anyway.
Yeah.
Right? They don't like me because I was bullied. I was this, I was that. So let me give them a reason subconsciously to say I was right. So now, every room that you walked in, you thought they weren't going to like you. Now the energy's put out there.
Yep.
Then when you leave, you go, see, I told you.
Law of attraction.
But that's the real. So people can see why that was, right? Because you know it now so well. Now people can know why. Because they're probably saying, well, why? Because that was your defense mechanism.
It's the only thing that protected me. Yeah.
What you thought, right?
At the time, yeah.
Right. That's what you thought protected you. But the real power is living your truth. I always say the biggest bullies in life are fear barriers, right? And I want to teach you how to get your lunch money back from that bully. And the two biggest fears that people have, I believe, are the fear of change and the fear of what other people think. And one of the ways that I conquer that on a consistent basis, and I share this with people, is live with intention.
Yep.
See, when my intention is pure, and I use a word or a sentence that offends you, that's on you. You got to figure that out. I'm good. I can put my head on the pillow. As long as my intention is pure. My intention isn't pure, that's a whole other person. That is what I believe gets you through that biggest fear, what other people think. Absolutely. But I want you to share the power that you felt empowered once you start to learn how to live in your truth.
I felt like I was pretty much me before all that crap happened to me as a child. But then when I look in hindsight, all it was doing was just making me stronger.
Yes. God bless.
But at the time, I didn't know how to get stronger because no one really teaches you when you're in high school or middle school or whatever, going through all that.
At the time, it sucks.
Yeah, you don't know how.
It's horrible.
Yeah, no one teaches you. This is how to heal yourself. Right. Emotionally from all the trauma you're going through right now and all this emotional trauma you think you're in. So when I finally did, I put on this mask of bitchy because I'm a nice person. I'm really nice. So maybe subconsciously I was thinking people took advantage of the niceness. So I became this cold person and kind of OCD because I was just thinking I needed to be different and better and not me. And so when I started taking off this mask, everything started aligning in my life better. I started making more money as an entrepreneur. My friends, they seemed to be more genuine. I started to attract more genuine friends instead of friends that were just interested in the kind of car that I drove, or whatever I was doing or how I look. I actually started having some friends in my life that were there for me through thick and thin. They really cared about who I was as a person. And I actually fell in love for the first time. After that, I removed that mask.
I love it.
And I think it's because I learned how to love myself, because that's the work. That's what the therapy is. It's learning to love yourself for who you really are, and facing everything about yourself that you might not think you like, but embracing it anyway and saying, okay, this is making me me. This is me. And learning to do that inner work, and all that leads to is self-love. And once you love yourself, then you have room to love someone else. And when you love yourself, it's attractive to other people. And so he was attracted to me.
The energy. We always hear this a lot, right? surround yourself with the right people. Your environment is this and that. What I've realized throughout the years is it starts from here, right? When you focus on here, let the universe do the heavy lifting, right? Because they're going to, all of a sudden, the universe is going to, you're going to become a magnet for those people. I just did a post. The first step in success is getting rid of all the losers in your life, right?
Yeah,
but here,
I like
and
that.
I added this in at the bottom, right? And I said, if you're surrounded by the complainers, the victims, right, and the non-winners in life, look in the mirror.
Wow.
Because like energy attracts like energy.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. That's the real.
Or you attract what you need to learn from.
Absolutely, but at that moment, right, you were still in that energy, right? Because you're attracting that, and it's the hardest thing in the world, right? I think for people to grasp on a consistent basis is taking a responsibility, even for those people, because that's who you attracted. And you couldn't identify it then, but we can now because we raised our level of awareness. But when you were that teenager, that was you attracted that into your life. Again, like you said, for a learning experience.
Right.
And I'm a huge believer, and you, right, are live and in color confirmation to this. I say it all the time. We're going to do shirts on this. Struggle equals strength.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
All day long. And,
yeah, it's true.
And you, if anybody can speak on that, you can speak on that because your struggle created that strength and who you are, the woman you became. Right, and I love that, and that's what I love about this show, because those scars, right, become somebody else's savior, right? That little girl going through that, or the parent, right, that's has the little girl. They're trying to figure out, what do we do? She's being bullied. She's doing this, right? Your story could help.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree.
It.
Well, the lemons haven't actually stopped. You know what I mean by lemons is struggle that I turn into lemonade.
Of course not.
You know,
it's your journey. It's our
nonstop.
Journey. No, listen, that's life.
Right.
Without it, how boring would it be?
I agree.
And
life happens.
Right. And it would be 10 times worse for me and you, because we're blessed with this entrepreneurial DNA, and we're bored after 2 seconds.
True.
Right?
Absolutely.
But that's the real. So if we didn't have those struggles, right? And I always say this: always want to strive for the dynamic duo. It has to scare you and excite you at the same time, or it's just not big enough.
Did you guys hear that? It has to scare and excite you.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Or it's not big enough.
Or it's not big enough.
Right?
I love it.
And if not, stop. I always tell people, if it doesn't, stop right now, go back and find that thing that scares you and excites you at the same
Write that in the
time.
comments. Make sure you heard that. That way you remember it.
But isn't that, so you're modeling, you're acting. Is that what brought you out to Santa Monica?
Yeah, well, like I said, I fell in love for the first time.
Oh, okay.
We broke up. He wanted to move out of the country and just be a young kid. So.
But did you meet him here in Oregon?
No, this was in Oregon.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we broke up, and I was heartbroken, so I decided that was a good time to move to LA. And I'd always kind of wanted to move here because we visited as a child, and I loved it. I loved the weather. I loved the energy. So
and the opportunity.
Yeah. And I was modeling so much for Nike, Adidas, NAU.
Really?
I was a consistent model.
Cool.
I did tons of music videos, even in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, I was getting booked all the time. Thank you, Sports Unlimited. I appreciate you.
Love it.
And so I decided, you know what? Maybe I could do it in LA. You know, and I'm a personal trainer too. I can make it happen. So I took the leap. I set a date. I said, you know what? My heart's broken. I'm sad. My life coach was coaching me, and I was helping me get through it. And I said, you know, I'm just going to set a date. And she said, that's smart. And I'm going to hold you accountable. So I set a date from a year from then so I could save some money to move and figure out some things, get a plan intact, think what I'm going to do when I get to LA. What if that's not enough money? And I did it. I made it happen. I moved, and I was actually kind of traumatized when I first moved here.
So did it scare you and excite you at the same time?
It scared me and excited me at the same time.
I love it. So
I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anybody. I honestly didn't come up with much of a plan in a year besides what I'd already thought. Like, I'll model act, I'll personal train.
Right.
I don't know.
So how were you traumatized?
I was traumatized by the people. I actually...
culture shock?
It was a huge culture shock.
Okay.
When I first moved here, I was going to pretty big auditions for acting, like an HBO TV series and movie.
Wow.
I was like, wow, this is huge. I cannot be more offended by what happened to me. They told me that I needed to jump through more hoops after I would go to the audition. One guy actually said the words, "Oh, cool, now, good job. Now you just have to meet me at my hotel and, we'll seal the deal."
Wow.
So I was like, what? I didn't have to do any of that in Oregon. I was just going to my jobs. My agent would book me. I would go to the job. I would model. I would act. I would do the music video. And music videos were a little seedier. The artist would be like, "What are you doing later?" But it's nothing major. It's not.
Nothing you couldn't handle.
It wasn't like I had to do anything to get the job.
Right.
I'd be like, I have a boyfriend, so whatever. But
so
when I moved
changed,
here, it was different. They had this carrot in front of me where I had to do. I'm like, no, and I was traumatized. I had my mentor back home, my life coach in Oregon, and I had my acting coach that were my mentors, and I called them both just crying, just bawling, like, I worked so hard, so long, for so many years on acting, and they just don't care. They just want to sleep with me.
You're just a number.
So after 3 of those events that happened, I finally got a job that they weren't weird about it. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not everybody.
How long of a window was that? Was that 2 months?
That was 2 months.
Okay.
2 months after I moved here.
Of torture.
I was getting some modeling jobs without
But were you still personally? Were you getting?
And I actually had a client that I knew in Oregon. I was training in Oregon that I could train here. So she got me by, but I also saved some money. So I had a little bit of a cushion. Sure. And then when I got that job after 2 months, I started talking to the directors, producers behind the scenes, and I said, guess what happened to me with the other jobs I auditioned for? They actually said I had to sleep with them to get the part. Can you believe that? And they looked at me like, oh, young child, that's Hollywood. You have to deal with it. Wow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, even the job they didn't tell me I had to. It was
just part of,
They still were like, you have to. I was like, okay. So that I had it with acting. I decided to kind of hide and go internal. I just decided to amp up my life coaching and amp up modeling because I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
You didn't run into that with the modeling?
Not as much.
Not like the acting.
Well, guys would be hopeful with the modeling stuff. They would say, well, this is a modeling gig, and I kind of knew better from when I was with my boyfriend. He would kind of look at jobs because he was a model too, and he would look at jobs and say that seems not cool.
Shady.
Yeah. So I knew which ones to avoid and which ones were legit, and I also had an agent that looked out for me here too. So I told my agent, you know what, I don't want to waste my time with any more auditions, and I kind of hid for a while and decided I needed to recalibrate. So this is what's interesting. It actually it was a lemon, right? And I turned it into lemonade because I thought, you know what, there's something missing in the industry, because for people to just be okay with this and for people to just say, deal with it.
Something's broke.
Something is broken. And I couldn't complain because people are like, who are you going to complain to? Everyone's doing it. Right. You can call their boss, but they're going to laugh at you.
Right.
So I was like, okay, we're stuck.
And the decision makers are the ones, saying it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
so, no one cared.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? What if I were to start my own business that empowered people like me? What if? So it actually took me a while, but with the breakthrough of technology and all of a sudden people starting to create websites, this was 7 years ago, you guys. Okay. I came up with the idea for Bellinity because I would get hit up on social media a long time ago, MySpace. People would be like, oh, I love your body, I love your hair, how do you do it, blah, blah. And I didn't have time to write everybody back. And also, I decided to start charging for personal training because of people asking me on MySpace how I got my body. That's why I started personal training.
You saw the value.
I saw the value. Yeah. So with what happened to me, I was like, oh, people keep asking me questions, and I'm not even famous. And I feel like I should charge, but I don't know. I don't have a platform to charge. And then I started noticing on social media that people that had way more followers than me were getting hit up way more than me. So I was like, oh, what if we could really make a platform where people could connect to these influencers and the influencers could get their share, which is the majority, and then my company would just take a little piece. Less than a manager.
So you want to create it at the time, right?
At the time,
create a platform that a company, say I'm the company, is looking for influencer marketers, come to you, right, and say, oh, this is
that's a piece of it. That's a piece of it.
Okay.
So the first part, and I call it Bellinity Main. The first part is for everyday people that want advice or just trying to get someone's attention and wants to ask questions.
To build their brand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just whatever they want to talk to someone about.
All right.
So I came up with the idea called Bellinity, where people can just write them messages, right? Influencers, experts, celebrities, anyone that you admire, you can write a message to. And on Bellinity, these admirers and influencers and experts, not admirers, admirees, they actually respond because they're getting an incentive to respond because you pay for the message once they reply. And these influencers also do a one-on-one video because there's so many group videos, you don't actually get to talk to them. This is a one-on-one video event. Let's say you're really good at guitar, you're Axl Rose. Axl Rose will put on a guitar lesson at 4 o'clock on Friday on Bellinity. He'll blast it out to his social media people, and they see that and they bid on it. So whoever his highest bidder is gets that one-on-one video event with Axl Rose.
A live
one-on-one, meaning it's through the Bellinity platform.
Right.
You get to do this one-on-one with this influencer.
Beautiful.
So I knew it was big at the time. Like, there was no live video 7 years ago. So this was way ahead of time. I was way ahead of any influencer crap you hear of now. People didn't know what are influence. I thought I coined that term 7 years ago. So investors were looking at me like, this is crazy. How are you going to do a video? How are you going to do the messaging? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. And it took me a really long time. It took me forever because I came up with the idea too soon. And timing is everything in tech. People weren't ready to code it, and they would say they were, and I got one investor that believed in me. And I would pay them this money, and then they couldn't do it. Right. And then thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars would go out to these people, and nothing was done.
Welcome to
we couldn't do it. Well, why did you take the money? Oh, and one time someone created fraudulent code. Sometimes the next team would be like, oh, you have to pay me $5,000 and I'll explore the code and see what we can do. They would pay me $5,000 just to tell me it's fraudulent code that the other coder did. Because maybe I didn't know what I was doing and I was trying to figure it out as I went, and I was trying to hire people that knew too, but they didn't know because technology was so new, people just didn't know. So I got screwed over and over again, and I finally found a team. I said, you know what? I need CTOs. I need people that actually have my back. And I finally found CTOs, thank goodness, at a tech meetup here in LA, and they finally were able to get me a product that launched.
Really?
We're still testing for a beta, and it works. It's functional. It works really good. I'm a perfectionist, so I'm still making changes. And the app has augmented reality. So it's taking a little longer for that one to launch.
So let me ask you this. On the business end of that, for people that are building businesses and brands, right, and products, when you have this up and ready, is it a membership? How does it work?
Okay, so I was talking about the Bellinity main side. All you have to do is just join, and it's free to join, and then you can just pay for the messages.
That's for the masses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's what we call Bellinity casting. Bellinity casting was something I came up with because of the goldmine database of influencers throughout the entire world, and businesses trying to get a hold of influencers too. So I came up with the idea for us to use that database for businesses to search eye color, hair color, body type, actress, whatever they're looking for, they can search the system. Okay. So influencers like it because they get paid from their fans, and then they can also be searched by companies as well. Okay. And there's a membership for that. So yeah, a company like an agency or a casting agency can pay a membership fee and they can search the system. So it's a lot cheaper than the current casting ways that is archaic, where you submit a headshot and resume.
Is it also built for companies that say, I want to, like I'm just ready to roll out. Matter of fact, I'm wiring the money tomorrow, where I'm rolling out my own line of sports nutrition supplements.
Nice.
Right? And we're also going to do apparel. So let's just say a company wants to roll out an apparel business. Say it's an urban flavor, right? With the hats and shirts and all that kind of stuff. Can they go to your platform and say, this is what we're looking for influencer marketers to get our product out there? Can you connect them?
Yeah, all you have to do is search the database and then you write the influencer yourself.
I pay for that service? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I pay your company to give me access to a database
Correct.
of influencers.
Correct.
Then, once I make connection with that influencer, then what?
The influencer can either say yes or no, and then you two just message each other from then on.
I see.
It's the access.
I got you.
I got you.
I'm paying you. We're paying you to give us access on a monthly basis.
Correct. That is correct.
Cool.
Yeah, and while I was building Bellinity, obviously I needed to make money, and so I actually got into dating coaching.
What is dating coaching?
Basically, some people have difficulty in the dating area or relationship area. I don't call it relationship coach because I'm not married yet. And my boyfriend may change his mind any day, but as of right now, I'm not married yet. Yes, that's true. So I don't like to call myself a relationship coach, but I do relationship advice. I call myself a dating coach. Basically, I got into this because I felt there was another need. I would have a lot of men hit on me, so I would hear all sorts of different approaches, and I'm really sassy and upfront. And I would sometimes give men real-time advice when they would approach me. Sometimes I would actually like them, and I wanted them to do better because their approach was so terrible, but they were really cute.
But you liked them.
I liked them,
This is a good guy.
Like, dang, he's
trying,
cute.
but
He's doing a terrible job. So I would say, you know what? Why don't you, instead of saying, I wouldn't mind taking you out, why don't you say something like, I would love to take you out? You know, little tweaks like that. And one guy I was giving really solid advice to. Really solid. Like, I was on a roll that night. I just started going to town. I'm like, you need to be a man. You need to take control of the situation. I need to feel your confidence. I started going off.
Yeah, you would.
And he was like, wow, this is really valuable information. I would really like to sit and talk to you about it. And I was like, you know what? My time is valuable. And I charge for my time. So I just randomly came up with a number of how much I would charge him, and he did it. And that was years ago. That was my first official dating coach client. And he loved it. He had such great results. He referred me to other people. So since then, and this has been, I think 3 or 4 years ago, it's become a referral-based business. So it's just someone makes a referral, someone makes a referral, someone makes a referral. And then it just, you know.
And you, charge by the hour? Or?
I have different packages. Okay. So I have... On my website, I have initial consultation prices, and then after that, I suggest a package. So I have like month-long, you know, continuous support programs. Cool. I suggest like first.
So do you work with men and women?
I do work with men and women. Yeah, I find that the ones that get the continuous support programs are the men.
Oh yeah.
So I end up giving more advice to men than I do women. But I love working with women because there's so many myths that we have in our society that we just don't think, you know, like, for example, I'll use you as an example. You're like, yes, work hard, get things done, and that's amazing, and it's beautiful, but sometimes women internalize that a little too much, and I had to learn the balance, because like I said before, I was OCD for a while, so there's a balance to being feminine while also dabbling with the masculine of business. And sometimes as women, we can get a little too type A and a little too masculine in 2017, especially because we feel like we have to support ourselves and what good's a man, an independent woman, I'm a boss lady, yeah. Women have a hard time accepting that, but we do. And so I teach a lot of women how to become more feminine while being successful. And it's a beautiful, beautiful life if you learn that balance. And most women have not learned how to perfect it. Men want to feel like a man when they're around you. They love feeling like a man that can provide and protect and, you know, just have their testosterone flowing. You know, and testosterone in a man actually makes them happy. It makes them, it's the opposite of being depressed.
So you know what my first product is going to be out this week.
What?
It's called Roar Testosterone Booster.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh,
so how does it boost the testosterone? Because is it natural?
I have all natural supplements. It's got about 12 ingredients in it, and I'm talking to one manufacturer, and we're talking about tweaking it. We're going to add a few things in and maybe take a few things out, but the first order is literally going to be in hand. If I wire it tomorrow, probably the end of the week.
That's awesome. I would love to look at it. And...
Here, check this out.
Okay, does it have maca in it?
Here, I'll show you.
Okay, I'm going to check out the ingredients, you guys.
It's got the Bulgarian, it's got the tribulus, it's got the horny goat weed.
Okay, this sounds really good. You guys, boosting your testosterone as a man or keeping your testosterone high is extremely good for you. It helps you feel alive. Oh, I love it.
Somewhere between 16, 17, and 23, 24, 25, depending on your genetics, your lifestyle, our testosterone's at its peak, our estrogen's right in check for a healthy male, right? That's why we can do whatever we want all night. The next day, what happens is nature starts moving us in reverse. Our testosterone goes down, our estrogen goes up, we could come out of balance. And if you don't start to do something about that, right, you start to go in reverse. You start to, and society thinks that it's normal for us to walk down the beach and see a guy that needs a bra more than his girlfriend, right? But no, but it's the truth.
It's true.
But their estrogen, it's because of their lifestyle, because of their lack of being physical, and also because their testosterone's going down and their estrogen's going up all the time. Yeah. So it's about turning the clock back internally. And when you go on our website, the first question is, what's your definition of quality of life?
I like that.
If it's getting up, feeling achy, feeling beat up, feeling like you can't get through your day without clarity, well, we can change that definition for you or help you. And here's what I also say that separates a lot of the people that sell nutritional supplements, because I did it for a long time and I've been around, I've been an athlete, and so I love it, is they're called supplements for a reason. They supplement your lifestyle. So the better your lifestyle is, the better they work.
That's
and
great.
I think that's where a lot of people are misled, right? They're like, well, this doesn't work, or it's not working to the way you say it was. Well, okay, well, let's dissect what's your workout regimen, right? What's your eating lifestyle. And here's the deal, right? Naturally, for men, there's major things that you can do to increase your natural testosterone.
Absolutely.
Number one is obese men, overweight men, right? The testosterone, the fat cells actually pretty much kill the testosterone.
Oh, it's so sad.
But at the same time, if your body fat is too low, I believe, under 9-8%, you start to get affected. My rule of thumb, if you will, is 10 to 18%. I think is a healthy range for a healthy male, right? Alcohol kills testosterone. Lifestyle, hormones in our food kill testosterone, right?
Non-GMO.
Right. Lack of REM sleep state, right?
Absolutely.
Kills growth hormone and testosterone.
Agree. Rest is huge.
And I couldn't agree with you more. It's what make us men. It's who we are.
Yeah, we need that. Women are attracted to testosterone.
Absolutely.
We don't that's why we like men with muscles, because it's testosterone. That's why men like women with curves, because that's estrogen.
Yes.
We're attracted to each other's hormones, so we're attracted to a man being a man. Now, on a dating side, what boosts testosterone? This is really interesting. Changing environment. Like traveling, it boosts testosterone naturally, and it's a little more temporary than supplements and working out. But that's why men think that they need multiple women, because the change boosts their testosterone. But they don't. If they just bring their woman to different environments, they would still get the boost of testosterone.
And you know what? That's a great point, right? Because if you think about it, and you know this, you're going to know this better than anybody because you do relationship coaching. So when they say, my old business partner back in Jersey used to say, man, when me and my wife would go away, it's like we're kids again. It's like,
because their testosterone gets boosted.
Yes, yes, and I think that we need that freshness, that new, that and even right. And I'm talking to this is what you do, but like even if you're going to create something fresh and you can't physically get away, right? Just somewhere new or a new way of doing things together creates that feeling. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
It's like you're honeymooning again. It's like you're dating again. And then women love it too. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Women love it too when you take them to an environment because they feel like they're bonding. And women need that connection. We don't need to travel as much as men do because when we get a testosterone boost, sometimes it gives us a little anxiety. It's completely different. But we like the testosterone boost at a gym. It feels a little different because we feel like amped, like we want to work out. But if we get a boost of testosterone from everyday things, sometimes it feels like cortisol entered our system, which we don't do as well with. Men actually handle cortisol a lot better, which is another whole topic in dating, which is really fascinating.
And, you know, the other thing is that I always say the goal should never be to look and feel your age. It should be to look and feel 10 to 15 years younger. That should be the goal. That should be the carrot. Me personally, I do. And I'd love to do another show with you on this.
Yeah, that'd be
on
great.
Relationships, on nutrition, on lifestyles. And I think we'd kick ass.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like
I have fun with it. I love it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Here's the other thing that the reason I put this supplement together, and we're going to roll out a line of supplements, a sleep aid, melatonin, valerian root, right? I'm not sure if I'm going to do a clarity or not, but I'm going to do a essential fatty acid, BCAA, right? An overall healthy stack, if you will.
Good.
And then a fat burner, either thermogenic or not. I don't know. We'll see about that. But so I do testosterone replacement therapy. I've been doing it for 12 years, right? I'll be 51 in September.
No way. He looks great, everybody, don't you think?
Thank you.
I'll be
51 in September, right?
Wow,
and I've been
works.
doing it since I was 40. And I go to a doctor. And here's the thing that this supplement, so when you're on synthetic testosterone and estrogen blockers throughout the year, number one, you're getting your blood work done quarterly, so there's no guesswork. You know where you are with all your numbers, right? And number two, when you're on it, you should be off for at least a month or two. This product helps you not crash. So it works for people that don't want to go down that road, which is perfectly fine, but it also helps that filler throughout the year.
I love it.
So, you know, there's a lot of, because this is I love this.
I love the sciencey stuff too. I'm kind of a science nerd because as a personal trainer, I did all the studying on supplements as well, and the body. I read all sorts of crazy books on how the body functions. I actually had to learn what my body needed because it's different. Everybody has a body that's different from each other. We could talk for hours about this because
we're going to do another show.
We go crazy with it. I had so much fun.
We're going to do another show.
Okay.
So
but I haven't even talked about cryptocurrency. I'll just talk about that for a second, though.
Yeah. I mean, can you talk about that?
Sure. I'm also, as a tech geek, I also really love cryptocurrency. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's I'm sure most of you have heard of Bitcoin. Yeah. Bitcoin is the currency of the future. And so I just found it really fascinating because what happened to our banks in 2009 and, you know, where we're headed, it just made a lot of sense. So I did a lot of research, and now I'm making actually really good money with two different programs, one for Bitcoin, and I'm also an Ethereum miner. So I own 4 machines that mine Ethereum. Yeah, and so Ethereum is like Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin,
right?
Except it's actually a more advanced coin than Bitcoin is. It's more of a token because it's a program in which you can code on top of. So think of it as like a foundation to build your house on, except in the tech world, it's a foundation in which someone can build code on top of and create an app or a website or something. So it's an actual code. It's a blockchain. And it's kind of like mining gold. So my machines are mining for me in South Korea.
Wow.
Because the internet is super fast. You get internet even in the subway there. It's crazy how good the internet is. And because the electricity is really cheap. And the machines get hot because they work all day, so they need air conditioning on it. So the electricity is cheap. And because someone else, like an engineer, hooks up these machines for me, so I don't have to worry about the maintenance or anything, but I just make the money. Wow. So basically it's like mining gold, except it's cryptocurrency. So these machines actually mine these tokens that make me money every month.
Wow.
And then the value goes up too. So if I hold on to some, then like there's this story of this kid that was 12 that bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin when it was worth like less than $1. And now he's a millionaire, and he's 18. He's a millionaire because he put $1,000 into Bitcoin. It's crazy, right? So Ethereum has just as much potential as Bitcoin. so it can shoot through the roof.
So what we're going to do when we get off, right, and I reshare this, you can jump on and post and reconnect with everyone.
I will, yeah. So I just want to FYI that's like something really fun to get in on right now. It's like a gold rush. And because I'm an entrepreneur, I realize that the more income streams you have, the more chance you have of being a multimillionaire. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So you guys are probably looking at me like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. You have a tech startup, you're a dating coach, you're a model. Yes, I still model. I was just in Maxim recently. I was in Fuse Magazine, Knockout Magazine, and I'm also in cryptocurrency. So you're like, how do you do all that? It's easy. I focus on stuff that brings me residual income, so I have as much freedom to do stuff like modeling that's more like a paid hobby, because it's fun.
Yeah,
and I make dating coaching like a paid hobby too, because it's fun, with the right client, obviously.
Right.
And then my tech startup is an expensive hobby. Because it's cost all sorts of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it'll make me hopefully a lot more.
So you have partners in that?
I actually am the sole founder, but I have 2 CTOs. I have a COO. I'm looking for a CEO. So if you guys know someone, I'm interviewing someone I really like right now. But we'll see.
So your COO is an investing partner.
Yes, yes.
What I want to do is take this nationwide on a tour bus with a reality show.
Oh, fun!
And then the nutritional products.
Wow, that would be fun.
So I'm looking for a COO, an investing COO, someone that has skin in the game. We connect, let them handle the back end, so I can just run with the front end. Because I learned a long time ago, you got to enhance those weaknesses so you can double down and triple down.
There's smarter people out there.
Well, for that. And that's what I did with all my other businesses.
Absolutely.
I owned a public adjusting firm in Philly, never adjusted one claim, right? Because I had adjusters, but I brought the work in. I create the relationships.
Exactly.
That's what I do. Yeah. So
you have to focus on what you're good at and then hire people at things that you're not so good at.
Yes.
And I realized as a female CEO that I was getting the same kind of harassment that I got as an actress, even though I was trying to start this business to get away from that. So it's interesting how that happens, cycle of life. So I found actually being a female CEO is actually getting in the way of us going further, and I don't have an ego to admit that. And I don't have an ego to also admit that someone could probably do it better than me, that maybe can code better and whatever.
Right.
You know?
You do what you do.
Exactly. Right? I can still be the founder and focus on the marketing and the face and do whatever I need to do, help my CEO out. I'll help him. I'll be a Scottie Pippen for sure, but I just can't be,
But that's essential to know when you are an entrepreneur in order to be successful.
Absolutely.
It's essential to know. We're going to get you back on, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about your business, about the relationship coaching.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the psychology of that.
Yeah.
We both love
There's so much to talk about.
So we're going to get you back on the show. So we end the show the same way every time.
Okay.
See, I'm a firm believer that you can only be in one state of mind at a time. See, if you're in that victim state for that moment, there's no room for that gratitude state or anything else that's healthy. Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay. And I'm a big believer that, I don't make the rules, you don't make the rules. Life makes the rules, right? And life always asks the questions, right? And right now, life is asking you a question, Chelsea.
What?
I love it.
What life?
I love it. Chelsea, if you could live your life purring like a kitten or roaring like a lion, what would you do?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I would like to roar like a lion in business and purr like a kitten at home.
Beautiful. Love that. Love that. And I'll tell you why. Because that's real. That's living your truth.
It is.
So right now, life is asking you this other question. Chelsea.
What life? My life.
If you could live in that unstoppable state the majority of your day, how would that be?
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do this. We're going to take this out Monster Motivator style.
Okay.
And it's called the Monster Motivator Roar. And it's going to put you in that unstoppable feeling.
I love it. Okay.
Now the sound.
Do we look at the camera?
We do whatever we want.
Okay.
We're in charge, right?
Okay.
Now the sound is just as important as the pose.
Okay.
So on 3, you're going to give me your best roar.
Okay.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Was that good?